Hello friends, welcome again. Friends, in this video today we are going to discuss what an elegy is or what kinds of elegies are found in English literature. Friends, we know that poetry is an ancient form of literature and lyric a type of poetry. Now this lyric can be of different types. There can be an elegy, there can be a sonnet, there can be an ode, and many more types of lyrics are found in English literature. So elegy is a kind of lyric in English literature. Friends, to begin with, let me tell you that the term elegy actually comes from Greek language. In Greek language, there is a word called elegus, Elegus. And in Greek language, elegus means the bereavement sung along with a flute. Bereavement means a kind of a sadness, expression of sadness. This emotion is presented in the form of a song, and this song is sung in the company of a flute. So, friends, the word elegy comes from the Greek word elegus, means the bereavement which is sung along with a flute. Elegy is a kind of lyric which is mainly written to mourn the death of someone near or dear. Okay, when someone near or dear dies and the poets want to express their sorrow, they want to mourn the death of his friend, friend or a relative, then the song which is written for that purpose is known as an elegy. Okay. In Hindi, we can call it Shok Geet, right? In Hindi, this elegy can be said as Shok Geet, a song which is expressing the sorrow of the poet. In Greek and Roman times, if we go back, if we talk about the ancient times, in those times, elegy was composed in one particular structure, right? Elegy was written in elegiac meter. Elegiac meter. And elegiac meter means, the alternate rhymes, alternate dactylic hexameter and pentameter lines are used in elegiac meter. Now, what is a dactyl? Dactyl means a meter having 3 syllables, right? It is a meter having 3 syllables in which the first one is stressed, the second and third one are unstressed. So, there is a falling rhythm in most of the ancient elegies if you read, right? So, stressed, unstressed, unstressed, falling rhythm, and there is an alternate lines. There are alternate lines used in this elegy. First line is hexameter. Hexameter means hexa means 6. Okay, hexameter lines means 6 dactyls are found in the first line. Next line there are 5 dactyls, right? Pentameter, penta means 5. So 6, 5, 6, 5, 6, 5. This is how the length of the poem we find in the ancient elegies. If we talk about English literature, in English literature, elegies became very popular during the 16th and 17th century. Let's have a look at the important characteristics, important features of elegy. Number one, elegy mostly begins with an invocation to the muse, right? It is just like an epic. In epic also, the poet begins with a prayer to God. In the same manner, elegy begins with an invocation or with a prayer to God. Number two, the epics are mostly subjective by nature. They are personal by nature, right? Why? Because this epic poetry is written to express the personal sorrow, the sadness of the poet. So it is always personal. Another thing that you find in all elegies is that most of the times the poets, they raise some questions against God, against destiny, against justice. So destiny, justice, fate, they are discussed in elegy. Why? Because it is a matter of death, right? The poet becomes so sad, he is so grieved that he questions God himself. He questions the destiny also. So destiny also comes, or it is found in this elegies. Some events of the poet's personal life which are associated with the person who is dead, they are also described or presented by the poet. Okay, why? Because the poet remembers, he has these memories in his mind, these memories with this fellow who is dead now, right? So such memories are generally presented in the elegy. If we talk about pure Christian elegies, then it is important to note that in all Christian elegies, the poem begins with a sad note, but towards the end of the poem, you have a happy note. Why? Because it is a Christian belief that death is not the end. Okay, that in fact releases the soul of the man. So it really releases the soul to eternity. So at the end of the poem, mostly in Christian elegies, you find a resolution, or you find a solution, or you find a happy note in Christian elegies. If we talk about English literature, in English literature mainly we find two kinds of elegies, two types of elegies: personal elegies and impersonal elegies. In the personal elegy, the poet laments the death of some closed friend or relative, right? The poet expresses his grief after the death of some close friend or relative. So it is a personal elegy. Why? Because the poet talks about his personal loss. Rugby Chapel, it is an example of a personal elegy written by Arnold. What do you see in impersonal elegy? In impersonal elegy, the poet expresses his sorrow over the loss of human values sometimes. Okay, sometimes the loss of cultural values. So, at a large, when the poet observes the loss of values or loss of something in the society, sometimes in the whole culture, and the poet expresses his sorrow, in the form of elegy, then that elegy is known as an impersonal elegy. Why? Because here the poet does not talk about the loss of a person. He doesn't talk about his personal loss. He talks about the loss of the whole humanity, loss of the whole culture or the whole society. So that's why it is known as an impersonal elegy. If you want an example of an impersonal elegy, then Thomas Gray, a very important poet of English literature, has written this elegy written in a country churchyard. It is an example of an impersonal elegy. If you want some more examples of elegies, then John Milton's Lycidas is a very famous elegy written during the 17th century. Lord Alfred Tennyson, the poet laureate during Victorian era, he wrote a personal elegy, Break, 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 to mourn the death of his friend. William Butler Yeats also wrote during, W.H. Auden also wrote a personal elegy to mourn the death of his friend W.B. Yeats, and that is in memory of W.B. Yeats. In the same manner, A.E. Housman, he wrote to an athlete dying young. And Emily Dickinson also wrote another very popular elegy, Because I Could Not Stop for That. So these are the important elegies, very popular elegies of English literature. Friends, before I leave, let me conclude the whole discussion that elegy is a kind of a lyric poem. Elegy is always personal by nature. It expresses the sorrow, the poet's grief after the death of some near or dear one. Okay? And traditionally, elegies were written in dactylic hexameter and pentameter lines. And we have two kinds of elegies in English literature, personal and impersonal. In the Christian elegy, you find the movement from pessimism to optimism. In the beginning, the poet is sad, but towards the end of the poem, the poet finds a resolution. Okay? So friends, here we come to the end of this discussion on elegy. Tomorrow, I'll come up with the discussion on what a ballad is in English literature. Till then, goodbye and have a nice day. Thank you.